If she sees you only as a friend, it's not because you lack value. It's because you've been playing the wrong role in her mind. She knows you're safe. She knows you're predictable. And safety, while comforting, never sparks desire. Comfort is trust, but desire thrives in tension. Desire thrives in contrast. And the moment you understand that, you start moving from friend to someone who awakens a woman's attention in ways she didn't expect. Here's the first truth most men miss. Attraction isn't about charming her with words or grand gestures. It's about how she experiences your energy. Right now, she knows what to expect from you. You respond instantly to her texts. You laugh at her jokes. You agree. You validate. Every action screams, "I'm here for you no matter what." And while that builds trust, it signals predictability. Her brain doesn't need to chase, and desire doesn't wake up without the slightest hint of risk. Turning on a female friend in minutes isn't about force. It's about subtlety. It's about polarity. Polarity is the magnetic tension between masculine and feminine energy. She feels safe around you, but does she feel the spark of unpredictability? The slight edge that keeps her mind engaged? That edge isn't arrogance. It isn't pressure. It's controlled presence. It's how you hold yourself in a room, how you speak without rushing, how you let silence linger just long enough for her imagination to fill the gap. Here's how it works. When she jokes, you pause slightly before responding. You smile slowly. You tilt your head with curiosity rather than agreement. Your body language shifts from open, waiting for approval, to grounded and self-contained. That tiny shift, almost imperceptible, tells her subconscious, this man exists on his own terms. He is not defined by my reaction. That's when the spark begins. That's when the friend zone cracks open. It's also about teasing and contrast. If she says something predictable, don't automatically validate. Gently challenge her. Really? I didn't expect that from you. Let her defend herself playfully. That tiny conflict activates her nervous system. It wakes up dopamine. And dopamine is the chemical of desire. Women don't just want comfort. They want a man who stimulates them emotionally, even slightly unsettles them in a safe way. The safest path to turning a friend on is by creating controlled tension without threatening the foundation of your friendship. Your words matter less than your presence. The way you occupy space, the tone of your voice, the slight delays in your responses, the confidence in your posture, all of this shifts perception faster than any clever line. Eye contact is a tool. Hold it a beat longer than usual. Smile like you know a secret she doesn't. Let her curiosity rise naturally. Don't over-explain. Don't justify. Just exist in that controlled, masculine energy. That's when she starts noticing subtle changes she can't name, and her body begins responding before her mind catches up. Another overlooked factor is availability. Men often think more attention equals more attraction. The opposite is true. Over-availability creates predictability, and predictability kills excitement. By slightly withdrawing, not in punishment but in self-respect, you create space for her to reassess. Why isn't he chasing like before? Why does he feel different? That question alone can create a shift in her perception that words never could. Finally, understand this. Attraction is felt, not reasoned. She doesn't need months to feel a spark. She needs a shift in energy, a new experience of you, calm, centered, slightly unpredictable, grounded masculinity paired with subtle emotional intensity. When she senses you are your own man, not defined by her validation, her nervous system responds, her curiosity heightens, desire ignites, and that's when the friend transforms into someone she suddenly considers in a completely different light. Here's something most men never realize. Women are constantly scanning for emotional signals, even when they don't consciously notice it. When a woman places you in the friend category, it's rarely because she doesn't find you attractive. It's because she hasn't yet experienced the subtle emotional polarity that creates desire. She knows your intentions are safe, predictable, and comforting. And while comfort is necessary for trust, it's the enemy of instant attraction. To turn that dynamic around, you need to shift how she experiences your presence, and you need to do it now. The fastest way to ignite that spark is through controlled contrast. Contrast is the subtle interplay between familiarity and unpredictability, calm and intensity, availability and independence. Most men stay in friend mode because they overinvest in approval. They laugh too hard at jokes, they validate excessively, they mirror everything she says. That energy signals safety, but not tension. And without tension, the brain remains calm, and calm doesn't trigger the rush of desire. Imagine this. She tells you about a guy she likes. Most men panic internally, overanalyze, or respond with insecurity. That's emotional collapse. Instead, observe and respond lightly, playfully, and without neediness. You always like the complicated ones, huh? Then pause, shift the subject. Your calm detachment instantly elevates your status in her eyes. You're no longer just a mirror to her feelings. You are a man with his own emotional gravity. That subtle shift activates curiosity. It forces her brain to reassess her assumptions about you. Micro gestures also create magnetic tension. A longer glance, a slight lean, a touch that lingers just a heartbeat too long. These are not aggressive moves, they're invitations for her nervous system to pay attention. Women are wired to feel emotional and physiological reactions before they label them as attraction. Your posture, your voice cadence, your slight pauses in speech, all these tiny details communicate confidence and masculine presence without you saying a word. Teasing is another powerful tool. Playful contradiction, light challenges, or subtle humor that slightly jars her expectations can make her feel alive in your presence. For example, if she makes a bold statement, don't just nod, smirk, tilt your head, and say, "Oh, really? I didn't take you for that." Then hold eye contact. She will instinctively defend herself, and that playful friction triggers emotional engagement. Desire is fueled by moments like this. Equally important is selective withdrawal. Over-availability kills spark. You don't need to vanish or play manipulative games, but you do need to show that your attention is valuable. Pause slightly before responding to texts. Let her initiate some interactions. Focus on your own energy rather than chasing hers. That brief emotional distance creates subconscious tension, and tension drives dopamine, the chemical that makes women think about you even when you're not around. Controlled vulnerability is another secret most men ignore. Share a small piece of your inner life, something that shows depth but doesn't solicit approval. For instance, "I've learned not to overthink everything. Took me a while." Then shift back to the present. This demonstrates emotional maturity and self-awareness, which women find magnetically attractive. Combine that with decisive action, confident posture, and calm presence, and you create an irresistible polarity between emotional strength and subtle openness. Remember, attraction is physiological before it's rational. She doesn't analyze why she feels drawn to you. Her body reacts first. Your job is to orchestrate her experience through energy, subtle tension, and emotional contrast. Don't oversell yourself. Don't try to force intimacy. Let the changes in your presence do the work. When she notices the new version of you, the one who is calm, confident, slightly unpredictable, her mind struggles to categorize you as just a friend. And that's the moment everything changes. The friend zone doesn't dissolve because of clever lines or pressure. It dissolves because she's experiencing something different, a man who is grounded, magnetic, and emotionally autonomous. The subtle tension you create triggers her brain to reconsider her initial classification of you. Desire starts to rise, curiosity grows, and her nervous system reacts long before her conscious mind catches up. That's how the shift happens in mere minutes. Now, let's get even deeper, because this is where most men completely miss the point. Desire isn't created by words or flashy gestures. It's created by the way a woman feels about herself when she's with you. If she feels confident, feminine, and slightly challenged in your presence, her chemistry changes instantly. If she feels like she's in control, fully certain of your attention, or emotionally superior, desire fades. The shift comes when you subtly reverse that dynamic. Not through aggression, not through pressure, but through presence, subtle tension, and controlled polarity. Controlled vulnerability is one of the most misunderstood tools. It's not about oversharing your emotions or apologizing for feelings. It's about revealing small glimpses of depth that make you feel real and grounded. For example, instead of telling her every insecurity, You might say, I used to overthink everything in relationships. Took me a while to get past that. That tiny admission signals self-awareness and growth without begging for sympathy. It positions you as a man who has faced himself, who has overcome internal obstacles, and who has control over his own emotional state. Women are unconsciously wired to notice that. Pair that vulnerability with decisiveness. If you're spending time together, choose confidently where to go, what to do. Don't ask for validation. Say, let's grab coffee there, or I think this is the perfect spot. Small acts of leadership in daily moments signal capability, security, and masculinity. These micro-decisions, combined with emotional depth, create an energy she can't ignore. She feels tension, curiosity, and subtle admiration all at once. That's the physiological foundation for attraction. Physical and emotional presence must work together. Micro-gestures, slight shoulder brushes, leaning in just enough to engage, holding eye contact a fraction longer than usual, activate her nervous system. Don't overthink it. These moments must feel natural. The key is that every interaction leaves her slightly heightened, slightly aware, and slightly intrigued. Women don't get turned on by words alone. They get turned on by energy, by the way you inhabit space, and by the contrast between calm self-possession and subtle unpredictability. Silence is another powerful tool. Men often rush to fill gaps, to explain, to laugh nervously. But when you hold silence with calm confidence, her brain fills it with imagination. She starts to replay the interaction in her mind, questioning what this new version of you means. Laughter, smiles, pauses, when orchestrated intentionally, trigger dopamine spikes, and dopamine is the chemical of desire. The more she imagines, the more she desires, even if she isn't consciously aware of it. Teasing and light contradiction are critical as well. When she expresses an opinion or makes a bold statement, don't automatically validate. Say, "Oh really? I didn't expect that from you," and watch her playful reaction. That small friction keeps her emotionally engaged and invested. Contrast activates attraction because her mind and body respond to the novelty of your energy. Familiarity is comfortable. Contrast is magnetic. Desire thrives in that tension. Finally, consider how you end interactions. Most men linger, over-explain, or try to secure approval before leaving. Stop that. Leave while energy is high. A calm, confident exit. "I've got to run, this was fun," creates emotional residue. She'll replay your presence in her mind, feeling the subtle tension and curiosity you've activated. Absence amplifies desire. Women naturally seek closure, and your departure leaves a gap that her brain wants to fill. Remember, this is not manipulation. It's a shift in energy, polarity, and presence. You are not forcing her to feel a certain way. You are guiding her nervous system to experience you differently. Calm self-possession, subtle unpredictability, controlled vulnerability, light teasing, and decisive action, these combine to create magnetic tension. That tension is what turns a female friend into someone who feels drawn to you, who notices you in a new light, and who begins to feel curiosity and attraction almost instantly. The friend zone is not permanent. It dissolves when she experiences a man who is emotionally autonomous, grounded, slightly unpredictable, and present in ways that activate her nervous system. When she feels the energy of your masculine polarity, desire grows, curiosity spikes, and her body reacts long before her conscious mind even understands what's happening. That's how the transformation happens in mere minutes, not months. Here's the truth most men are terrified to admit. If she never feels like she could lose you, she will never feel the rush of wanting you. Desire requires perceived risk. If you constantly prove loyalty, availability, and devotion without challenge, you remove risk entirely. I'm not telling you to play manipulative games. I'm telling you to value yourself first. Your time, your energy, your presence. That internal shift is what triggers attraction faster than any pickup line ever could. Start with clarity. Express your attraction subtly but confidently. "I won't lie. Sometimes the way you look at me is distracting." Say it once. Smile slightly. Don't over-explain. Don't apologize. Don't seek validation. You've just communicated your intent without demanding a response, without collapsing emotionally. That alone creates polarity. She suddenly has a decision to make. Does she lean in or does she step back? That tension, that choice, ignites desire instantly. Your presence is the next factor. Grounded masculinity is magnetic. Slow movements, calm breathing, deliberate gestures, confident posture, these are the unspoken signals that speak louder than words. If she tests you through sarcasm, teasing, or playful challenges, respond with composure, play along lightly, smile, stand firm. She feels emotional stability paired with subtle excitement. That's the combination that creates attraction in minutes, not months. Controlled withdrawal is crucial. You don't vanish, and you're not playing games, but slightly stepping back, pausing before replying, keeping your own life prioritized, all signals that your attention is valuable. Absence creates tension. Women are wired to seek closure and fill gaps emotionally. When your presence isn't guaranteed, she begins to invest emotionally without realizing it. That's why sometimes pulling slightly away feels like progress, not punishment. Another key is micro-intimacy. Small touches, light teasing, and subtle eye contact activate her nervous system. When she laughs, don't rush to fill silence. Let her reaction settle. Look at her. Hold her attention with calm intensity. Every micro-interaction should leave her slightly heightened, curious, and engaged. Desire is fueled by these small, repeated experiences, not grand gestures. Finally, understand abundance. Women are drawn to men who signal that they are emotionally self-contained and have options in life, not men who cling or beg. Confidence without arrogance, presence without pressure, and attraction without desperation are the most powerful combination. When she senses that you are your own man, grounded, independent, slightly unpredictable, her nervous system reacts instinctively. That's the core of turning a female friend on. Now, I want you to reflect honestly. In your last interaction with the woman you're thinking about, were you seeking approval or were you expressing yourself freely? Did you create tension and curiosity, or did you settle for comfort and predictability? Here's your personal equation to consider. Desire equals sign, emotional safety plus uncertainty plus self-respect. Which of these three have you been neglecting? Be honest in the comments. Safety, uncertainty, or self-respect, and why? The first step to shifting her perception is recognizing where your energy is off balance. If this perspective shifted your understanding even slightly, hit like. Subscribe for more insights about female psychology, dating dynamics, and self-improvement. And share this video with a friend who keeps complaining about being just a friend. Because sometimes the difference between friend and lover isn't time, it's energy. Remember, turning a female friend on in minutes isn't about manipulation. It's about presence, polarity, subtle tension, and self-respect. If you can master that energy, she will see you in a completely new light, and desire will follow naturally, almost unconsciously.